Kansas is a-rockin', and the Royals and Jayhawks are a-talkin'. What's up, and welcome to 3 in the Key. I'm your host, Ben Allen. Today is the day KU football fans have been waiting for all football season. It's KU basketball's late night in the fog. Today, we will have Michael Garrett, GJ Melia, and Blake McFarland talk KU basketball and a little bit of Katy Perry. And also, Michigan Daily basketball beat writer Simon Kaufman will be Skyping in with us to get you up to date on all the Big Ten action. But before we get you up to date on all that, let's get you up to date on what you missed. Thursday night football, everyone's favorite day of the week apparently. J.J. Watt and the Houston Texans took on Andrew Luck in the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts got out to a huge 24-0 lead in the first quarter, but the lead did not hold. Luck, who was leading the NFL in passing yards and TDs, had a great game, but the Colts star was T.Y. Hilton, who had 223 yards receiving. While Luck and Hilton were racking up the yards, Texans came roaring back with Arian Foster bulldozering in 2 rushing touchdowns, and even J.J. Watt got in on the action as the best defender in the league and was able to return a fumble for his 3rd touchdown of the season, which makes guys like Shady McCoy and Calvin Johnson a little bit jealous. Fourth quarter, the Texans pushed the score to 33-28, but a few untimely fumbles, and the Colts and Andrew Luck were able to hold on for their 4th win of the year, 33-28. The never-ending question of whether college athletes should be paid or not rolls on. The latest story in question involves the Heisman hopeful Todd Gurley. According to ESPN, Gurley is being investigated for signing memorabilia in exchange for payments ranging from $8 to $25 per signature. Due to the investigation, Gurley has been suspended indefinitely and will miss, for sure, the Missouri game tomorrow. Gurley, who was averaging 8.2 yards a carry, had totaled for 773 yards so far this season. And of course, the NFL news, and it keeps getting worse for the Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson. Peterson, who is being investigated for allegedly beating his son with a switch, admitted recently to smoking marijuana before taking a urinalysis test Wednesday. This admittance has led to paperwork being filed to revoke Peterson's bail and request for his arrest. Peterson is currently on the NFL's commissioner permission list, allowing him not to play but still receive pay. There is a rumor that the Vikings may be looking to move Peterson, but likely through a trade as opposed to a release. On a much more happy note for the NFL, according to reports, the NFL halftime show will be a teenage dream. That's right, the new college game day sweetheart, Katy Perry, is reportedly going to be the entertainment at America's favorite game. In August, the Wall Street Journal reported that Perry, Rihanna, and Coldplay had been in contact in hopes of interest in performing. It is still not clear who is paying, though. The Wall Street Journal also reported that the NFL was looking into the possibilities of the performers paying the NFL to perform, and the large viewership provides a huge platform of viewership. The American League Championship Series, well, it begins tonight when the Royals and Orioles kick off in Baltimore. But the players of the MLB are not quite as happy as many had hoped. The MLB has been committed to speeding up the pace of the game this postseason, but the players feel like they've lost a voice. According to ESPN, no one but the Players Association has confronted the players of the MLB on the change. According to Kevin Slowe, a longtime pitcher in the MLB, quote, "The players are very interested in being involved in these discussions. We just want to be a part of collaborative effort to address these issues, and we want to have a voice. We don't want to overpower any other voices. We just like to have our voice be heard," end quote. The committee that was created to help improve the pace of the game does not include any current players selected among the 7. And now, it's time for your fantasy tip of the week. After my rough prediction last week with Blake Bortles, I'm just going to stay away from all quarterbacks in general this week. This week is more of a notice more than a true tip. This week, there is an extremely high amount of players that left practice this week. The temperatures are dropping and many injuries are beginning to stiffen up, and guys are ultimately going to be missing games. Make sure you check your team right before the first round of games Sunday to make sure that your star isn't going to be sitting. That's my fantasy tip of the week, and that's all I've got for what you missed. But when we return, we will get you up to date on some Big Ten sports with Simon Kaufman of the Michigan Daily. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 3 in the Key. Now joining me via Skype is everyone's favorite Michigan Daily writer, and especially here in Kansas, Simon Kaufman. Simon, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing well, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for coming on. This is the third time for you now?
I think this is the lucky number three.
That's always the best time. All right, we'll jump right into things here. Michigan is experiencing a lot of the same problems that KU football fans and KU athletics people and everyone here is experiencing the same problem you guys are. We're having problems with the head coach. Brady Hoke hasn't had exactly the best season for you guys, and obviously we didn't have a great season with Charlie Weis because he doesn't have a job anymore. What's the future like for Brady Hoke right now with Michigan football?
Yeah, well, just to put things in a little bit of context, 2 weeks ago against Minnesota, Michigan decided to start Shane Morris instead of Devin Gardner to mix things up a little bit. That obviously didn't pan out so well. From an on-field perspective, Morris was no better than Gardner. And late in the game, he got hit pretty hard in the head. He was in for another play. Then he was taken out. Gardner was put back in. And then Gardner's helmet came out. So according to the rule, they had to throw another quarterback in. And Morris went back in. All of this coming after he took a pretty big blow to the head. It came out later that week that he had suffered a mild concussion, but the whole PR mess around it in terms of him going back into the game, them allowing him to do that. The press release didn't come out until very, very early Tuesday morning. So people were pretty livid. There was a rally later in the week calling for the firing of Dave Brandon, which is the AD here. So people were pretty fired up about that situation, and that kind of got things rolling from that perspective.
Well, see, that's more than here out in Kansas, though, because the fans just at this point don't expect any different. That's one thing I've noticed. It seems like at least the Michigan fans are still excited about this team, though, right? There's still a fire for the team?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's Michigan football. It's the winningest program in college history, so the fans always expect a winning program. It'd be interesting to know if the team was 5-0, when that concussion situation happened, if they're still calling for people's heads, or if that's just kind of a good reason to start calling for people's heads.
Yeah.
The bottom line is people want a winning team, but at least from the student body perspective, a lot of people feel like they're being taken advantage of from the athletic department. Prices have gone up for a team that, quite frankly, hasn't had a very good product on the field. And, I imagine Kansas fans would feel the same way if they were to bump ticket prices up after the Charlie Weis regime, in which, the team is, what was it, 7-22, 7-23 under his leadership?
It's not very good. It was not very good at all. And one of the guys that has kind of been talked about with you guys, as a replacement possibly, is a guy who's got a job in the NFL right now. His name is Jim Harbaugh. And go figure, he was a guy that was also talked about here as being a possible replacement before that Weis even got here. And now he's being brought up again. But is it really fair to have a name swirling around right now of a guy that still has a job in the NFL?
Well, I think it's always fair. The media is going to speculate. People are going to wonder. But you look at both of the Harbaughs. Both of the Harbaughs have history at Michigan. Their dad, Jack, coached here under Boshem Beckler.
Sure.
They both went to high school literally right down the street from the stadium. Jim Harbaugh played here. John Harbaugh, he, I believe, was assistant coach here for some time. Another name that people are throwing into it is Les Miles at LSU. But, they wanted him to come originally before they hired Brady Hoke when Rich Rod left, and he decided to stay at LSU. So I think that's always going to be part of it, speculation. But obviously, the guys in the NFL, they're not going to say anything until something's final. They have an NFL team to coach, and that's going to be their priority.
So let's get to your expertise here. I know you're a football fan and you're a baseball fan, all this stuff, but I know you love basketball. And I know that people at Michigan love their basketball. And here at KU, we love our basketball too. And tonight is Late Night in the Fog, which is, the opening practice ceremony that everyone has. So we've got that here tonight. We're all excited about basketball. What's the Michigan basketball team going to look like this year? And what is the rest of the Big Ten going to look like?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I think we used to have one of the Midnight Madness sort of thing, but they haven't done it the past couple of years. So that's been a disappointment, not since my time here. But from an on-the-court perspective, Michigan should expect to have a pretty good team. Of course, they lost a lot of talent last year. They had the three guys, Glenn Robinson, Mitch McGary, and Nick Stauskas, all go to the NBA. And then two of their centers, John Horford and Jordan Morgan, they both left too. Horford transferred, and Morgan graduated. But there's still a lot of talent. It's hard to say too much about the freshman class. But looking at people that are coming back, you have Karis LeVert. He averaged 13 points last season, just had a huge breakout season. And then at guards, you've got Derek Walton and Spike Albrecht. and they're probably one of the best 1-2 combos there. And you've got Zach Irvin, a sophomore that's coming back. He can shoot the ball. He moves well on the court. So I think what it's going to come down to from Michigan's perspective is how well Karis LeVert can step up. Can he kind of jump into this big-time player role that Nick Stauskas, was very comfortable taking last year? In terms of the Big Ten in general, I mean, the teams you're going to look at are going to be Michigan, Michigan State, and probably Wisconsin's going to be up there. Wisconsin has the most talent coming back. MSU, obviously, you can never disregard them with Tom Izzo, but they lost, just as much talent as Michigan did with Gary Harris, Appling, and Payne, all leaving the program. So Wisconsin, they've got a lot of talent coming back. They've got Decker, they've got Frank the Tank Kaminsky, and he's just a beast. So they're probably the preseason favorite coming into things.
All right, Simon, we'll get you out of here on one more question. We're down to 4 teams in the MLB postseason. Who's going to make it to the big game this year, and who's going to win it?
It's going to be St. Louis in 6 games over the Giants. It's going to be KC in 6 games over Baltimore, and then it's going to be St. Louis and KC in the series with St. Louis winning in 7 games.
Oh, you're not going to make a lot of fans happy out here. Well, you made them happy for a second with KC, but going with the Cardinals, going with the other Missouri team, ooh.
My boy Larry Walker, former Rocky, when he got traded there, I became a Cardinals fan. So, and they were my first Little League team.
You're trying to hold true with your Rockies out there, and that was a great. You guys had a great season this year, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of offense, not a lot of defense, and not a lot of pitching.
Got a new GM though, so hopefully things will be going in a better direction.
I was surprised. I was really waiting to hear your name selected as the new GM. What happened there?
They just weren't offering enough right now to pull me out of school, so you wait a couple years.
I completely get that there, Simon. Thanks so much for joining us. We always love to have you on, and we're looking forward to the next time you'll be on with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Ben. Appreciate it.
That's all from me and Simon, but when we return, the boys of debate will be taking a seat. You won't want to miss. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 3 in the Key. It's time for debate, where the challenge today is going to be winning the points from our beautiful director, Abby Walsh, who is finally back with us here today. Hopefully you guys did your sucking up beforehand. Today with us today, we have GJ Melia, Blake McFarland, and Michael DJ MCAT Garrett. Had to make sure he got that in for you guys, folks. I'm glad that you guys are here with us today watching, and it is time for debate, guys. So without further ado, let's get started. Katy Perry has been recently announced that she will be doing the Super Bowl halftime show. Guys, are you guys excited with the selection? And if not, who would you want?
Well, I'm excited. Katy Perry.
That doesn't sound excited, DJ. I want you really excited.
She's a talent, and hopefully she does some stuff like she did at Ole Miss. You guys saw any of the videos? Having some fun at the bars down at Ole Miss.
I'm pumped. I actually like Katy Perry's music a little bit. It's always upbeat and goes for it, but I will say this, that it will be definitely something to watch because she's going to have some ridiculous outfits and sets. I'm pumped for it. It's a good choice.
Like, we were saying this earlier, possible wardrobe malfunction with Katy Perry.
I mean, I'm not predicting one, but I would say that maybe that would be a game changer in this situation too.
I thought NFL, I thought we were avoiding this. I don't know.
They need some positive publicity. Katy Perry all of her songs are very positive.
Now I like Katy Perry, but my fear is like other people don't. Cause that sounds bad, but it's like, does Katy Perry really scream like football to you?
Well, the thing about the halftime show is like they've kind of made it a point that it's not really like about football fans. It's about like all the people that watch the commercials watch the halftime show for who's performing.
Well, that's
like
true.
If they wanted football fans, they should bring like, I don't know, like just like look like AC/DC or something. Like look at like the pump up list for like a
bring
football
back
team.
Tom Petty.
Like anybody who likes like rock and like hard music, like that would be who they'd want.
Clearly
for like this is for like the moms and
now,
dads who are still watching.
What I'm saying is like
and Blake.
Bruno Mars was like a great choice. Reason being is because he's modern music that sounds. It has that kind of old sounding sound to it. While we were watching it, my dad was like, "Oh, this seems a little bit, like Michael Jackson-y in a way, like the dance moves and the singing and stuff." Actually, more people watched the halftime show last year than the actual game. If you look at the numbers, the TV numbers, more people tuned in to watch Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers than the actual game.
They were awful.
The Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
When you're talking music, you got to give it to the DJ. DJ MCAT, you got your first point of the game here. Second question, guys. I don't know if you guys got to catch the Thursday night game last night. But the Texans have a really interesting option now to possibly look at. J.J. Watt scored his 3rd touchdown on the season, 2nd on defense, and he has 1 receiving touchdown as a tight end. Guys, is it time for the Texans to start looking at him as a possible guy to play both sides of the ball?
Little known fact, J.J. Watt started at Central Michigan as a tight end, as a walk-on tight end, and then he switched to going, because basically he couldn't play at Central Michigan as a tight end, so he went to Wisconsin. I say no, because clearly if you can't play Division I football as a tight end, like obviously the guy's a freak, so as like maybe it's like how, like, you know, like the Patriots back then they used Mike Vrabel as like, we need to touchdown, put Mike Vrabel in. He had like 8 catches for 8 touchdowns. Like, I think that's how you use J.J. Watt. I don't think you make him like, first of all, nobody can ever play 2 sides of the ball in the NFL. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think he's way better as a defensive end than he would ever be as a tight end.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think you need to utilize him. Goal line situations. He's a big guy. Either have him block or hand the ball off to him. Maybe.
No, why are you handing the ball off to him?
Hey.
Anybody see
3rd and goal
Dontari-
from the 1. Just
how can
boom.
he fit through a hole?
Anybody see Dontari?
He doesn't. He makes the hole.
Doesn't he make the hole?
He pounds through.
You think he can fit between a center and a guard? No way.
Do a
no
jump,
way.
a jump play.
I'm
with
just like, if you, for example, if you put him in a goal line situations, do you guys remember back in 07 with Jared Allen doing that like fade off to that fade route or whatever, like lobbed one up and he caught it. It was like a pretty good hit. It was like, I don't know, maybe J.J. Watt.
Well, that's what
That's
J.J.
what I'm
Watt
saying,
did.
like Mike Vrabel, like put him on the left side.
Yeah,
and
but
have him
I
run the corner.
wouldn't like hand him the ball.
They threw the ball to Vrabel.
But you also have Arian Foster on the team, so it's
Yeah.
like maybe just use him.
Yeah.
I think
I'm not a
that's what I
coach,
said.
but
I said he's not. If he couldn't play D1 tight end, why can't he play?
I think it's a dumb question because it's like, let's take the best defensive player in the league and put him on offense.
Well, he also does have more touchdowns than LaShawn McCoy this year.
Yeah, but that makes no sense. You think if you put J.J. Watt in as running back?
I'm just defending Ben. Don't attack me.
Okay.
I think the best way to utilize
We were gonna give the point to DJ MCAT on this, but he called my question dumb. So we're gonna give him we're gonna give the point to the guy as far away as you can get from him. So we're giving it to GJ because he was on the other side of the table. GJ, you got your first point of the game here. Blake, you gotta,
I'm sassy.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit sassy here, DJ. All right. 3rd question we're gonna get to now. We're down to 4 teams into the postseason, guys. In case you missed that. I'm not asking you to pick the World Series winners because I know you guys are all crazy Kansas City fans. So I'm asking you guys, who are winning these series right now?
I'd have to pick the Cardinals definitely to win over the Giants. There's something about postseason experience that if you either have or you don't, and the Cardinals definitely have it.
Don't the Giants though too?
Yeah,
they do, but the Cardinals also they're like a little bit more complete, and they have the upper hand at home. They play really well in St. Louis. Like not that baseball stadiums are like that tough to play in, like from like an overall standpoint, but Busch Stadium is one of the toughest places to play in the MLB, and the fact that the Giants have to go out there more than they'll be playing at AT&T Park, that makes it tough. And then also, I think there's something about the Royals and this year being kind of like destiny, being kind of like a movie. I think they'll struggle, but I think they beat the Orioles just somehow, some way, like pitching, defense, in a bullpen. And if you just have Hosmer Sockets just do like they have, and they just hit a home run when you need it, they can't be stopped.
Go ahead.
I'll agree with you. I think it's Cardinals Royals, and I think it's because the Royals they can rely on their pitching, whereas we saw it in the Angels series where the Angels couldn't hit and they didn't have pitching to rely on. It could be very similar with the Orioles hit 200 and some home runs, and the Royals didn't even hit 100 home runs, but the Orioles could face some some very good pitching in the Royals. And then when you look at the Cardinals, they have that experience. And fun fact, the last 5 times it'll be Giants, Cardinals.
Yeah.
Giants or Cardinals.
If you count this year.
Yeah.
I think that the Giants and the Cardinals series is really going to be tight. I think it's kind of a wash. They're pretty. Because if you look at it, like I'd kind of maybe give the edge to the Giants pitching staff, but like positional wise, you kind of have to go Cardinals. But it's gonna be close, and like Blake said, home field advantage could be huge because if it goes to Game 7, St. Louis could be bumping. And then if you look at the Royals and O's, I mean, like there is something about this Royals team, and I mean they're a team built for the postseason. The bullpen's ridiculous. Their starting pitching's great. They're good at clutch hitting. They're not going to hit the home runs, but they'll knock in base knocks. And if you get a guy on base late in the game, if it's a one-run game, and you have someone on base, Terrence Gore. The official fastest guy in the MLB. Like, you can't throw him out. If he gets the right jump on the pitch, he's at second.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, both of them. That's like the best thing about the Royals is that they have 2 specialized base runners who that if they're down 2 runs in an inning, like say the 8th or the 9th, and they get Billy Butler gets on, then you put in Terrence Gore. Then if Salvador Perez gets on, you put in Gerard Dyson. Then you have a guy on first and second. You do a double steal, second and third. You're gold right there.
All right, you guys all said the exact same thing, so we're going to have to give it to the guy who at least led the point in it. So, Blake, you got your first point of the game here, buddy. Yes. Going to our 4th question, and the reason why you guys are wearing basketball jerseys today. It is late night in the fog here at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. Hope you guys are excited right now. All right, guys, everyone knows there's a lot of fun stuff that goes on. There's a lot of great dance moves and maybe some bad dance moves. I got a 2-part loaded question for you here. Who is going to be the best dancer tonight, and what player are you most excited to see?
Obviously, the best dancer is going to be Svi. We're going to see some Ukrainian folk dance, which I'm very excited for. It'll be late night in the fog with basketball, but maybe a look into another culture while we're at it. So,
is that a thing, Michael? Is Ukrainian folk dance an actual thing?
Yeah, why not?
Allow me to demonstrate. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe next episode. I'll need to practice.
Maybe Svi needs to go to prom first. He's 17 years old. Maybe you should go to prom and learn how to dance there first. That might be better. I'm really excited to see Kelly Oubre play because Bill Self has had some very, very big quotes on him saying that he doesn't expect him to be here very long. The guy's got a 7'2" wingspan and he's 6'7". That's like being Andrew Wiggins size with Joel Embiid's arms. It's ridiculous. I think he could be a huge player for KU, especially if he can fill in where Wiggins was in the starting lineup because somebody has to play there. And the best dancer, I think Wayne Sullivan probably would be the best dancer. The guy that I'd most like to see dance would be Tyler Self because I find nothing more fun than watching Tyler Self do anything because it's like watching myself go out there. I honestly think if I played Tyler Self
you don't think you'd go out there and
I think I could be a little bit better. Tyler Self one-on-one?
I think if I played Tyler Self one-on-one, I would take it close. I'd take him all the way. If we played 11, I think it'd be like
I could
Tyler 11-9.
He's calling for
Go for it. I mean, I'll see you at the rec. I'll go to your house. You can come to my house. I don't care, but I don't think he's that good.
I'll take him in a dance-off.
I watched him in high school not start as a senior. He didn't start for Free State as a senior. And he put up a floater against Willie Cauley that he put into the 8th row of the bleachers. And Bill Self, I looked at Bill Self, his face, he watched it, and he just two-hand. It was just like, oh my God, that's my kid.
Don't you think he kind of realizes that?
I know he doesn't realize that, but that's what I'm saying. Watching Tyler Self is like watching myself go out there, and that's how I perform. If I've ever wondered how I would play on Division I basketball, he's like the average person.
Let's do this.
GJ, what do you think?
Let's tweet right now.
The best dancer is
tweeting at Tyler Self.
Definitely Frank Mason. You can do backflips. He's going to be doing backflips all over the place. But then on the more official side, I think Devontae Graham is going to be the most exciting player because, the jury's out. Bill Self has said that Devontae is fighting for starting minutes. I think it's going to be probably the biggest storyline going in is the point guards. Who's going to start? So.
Point guards is huge, especially because that was what was our Achilles heel last year. That's what robbed us of a deep playoff run, or a tournament run, I guess.
And the playoffs,
Yeah, was that we weren't stable at the point guard position. And I think that's going to be the key to this year. And Ben, I don't know. We have the next question, right? I was going to jump into that, but I don't want to jump into that.
We've got to give a point. I don't know if are we going to have to send this whole show to Tyler?
I'm tweeting at him right now. I'm saying, hey Tyler,
Blake McFarland, you get the point for just throwing it out there. You're throwing it out there.
Blake, what's your Twitter handle?
So the points are 1-2-1 going into our final question, which of course is worth 2 points. So whoever gets this final point in will get the win. Guys, we've got about 1 minute here. What are the expectations for the KU basketball team this year?
Well, I would start off with the expectation is to win their 11th Big 12 title. We were just picked as the favorites. Texas is going to be tough because they bring pretty much everybody back and then add some good freshmen. Yeah, Miles Turner. I think our recruits are going to be huge, but I think there's a lot of pressure on Devontae Graham to step in and do a lot. There's still a question mark at the starting point guard position with Frank Mason and, what are we going to do with Frank Camp? What are we going to do? Those questions. I honestly think losing Nadir Tharp was pretty big.
Next point. We need a next point here.
I think that first of all, Nadir Tharp, I think that's addition by subtraction. I think the expectations stay the same every year with Kansas basketball. Win the Big 12, compete for a national title, and I don't care who's on the team. That's my expectation when I watch this team with Bill Self.
Yeah, I agree. It's a national title or bust, basically. Final Four or bust. You have to win the 11th straight, and that is going to be the goal for this team. And the defense needs to be a lot better from last year.
Yep. He's going for another title here today, guys. Blake McFarland, you are our winner today on today's daily debate
for
on
Kelly.
3 in the
Kelly.
Key. You did it for Kelly, and you did it against Tyler.
Also, we just tweeted at Tyler Self about the one-on-one game, so stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. If it goes happening, you can see it here on 3 in the Key live, and we will make sure that's streamed out to you guys. Thanks for watching us here today. Make sure you follow us at 3 in the Key on Twitter, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week, and we hope that you have a great fall break. Thanks for watching, guys.